She told me. I need more freedom. We should see other people while still dating. I said, that's called being single. Packed her things, updated my status, and started seeing the colleague she was worried about. When she returned from her freedom date and found her bags on the porch, she finally learned what freedom actually costs. There are moments in a relationship when you know something is shifting long before the actual words come out. Small changes, subtle signals, little fractures that don't break the whole structure at once, but you feel them, like pressure building behind a dam. With Ava, the signs appeared months before she ever said the sentence that detonated our relationship. It wasn't dramatic at first. She kept her phone face down more often, stopped asking me to join her weekend plans, started dressing a little differently, not for me, but in a way that suggested she wanted new eyes on her. She'd take calls in another room. She'd come home late and say she lost track of time with the girls, even when her friends' Instagram stories showed them home at 9 p.m. Little pieces, little cracks. But I was stupid enough to chalk it up to stress, work, burnout, anything except the obvious. Ava had always been impulsive. That's what I liked about her in the beginning. She brought energy into my very orderly life. She challenged me. She made me try things I'd never pick for myself. But there's a difference between impulsivity and instability, between spontaneity and recklessness. I learned that too late. It started with sentences like, don't you think relationships should evolve? Or, monogamy is kind of outdated, don't you think? I would shrug it off, thinking she meant in general terms. Not us. We weren't having issues. We weren't fighting. We weren't disconnected. At least, I wasn't. She'd look at me with this distant expression, as if she was weighing something, or me, on a scale. At the time, I thought she was just being philosophical. But looking back, that was the soft launch. She was warming me up to an idea she had already fully committed to privately. There's always someone. For her, it was Lena, a co-worker from her marketing team. They weren't close, at least not publicly, but I'd seen the way Lena looked at me the 2 times Ava had dragged me to company events. Not flirtatious, not obvious, just interested. Intelligent eyes noticing more than they let on. Ava used to joke, Lena's too intense for me. She needs someone calm like you. It was harmless banter back then, until it wasn't. About 2 months before everything blew up, Lena started texting me occasionally, small things. Work humor, memes, links to psychology articles after I mentioned I was reading about burnout. Never inappropriate, never crossing lines, never stepping into emotional territory. Just friendly. And I didn't hide it. Ava saw the name pop up often. She'd tease me about being Lena's emotional support office guy. But one night she said something that stuck with me. Lena likes you. I can tell. I laughed it off. Ava didn't. She tilted her head and added, just don't get tempted, okay? At the time, I thought she was projecting. Turns out she was preparing a safety net, a justification. Mapping out her exit. It was a Thursday. She came home late, smelling like gin and floral perfume. Not her perfume. Someone hugged her that night. Someone held her close. She kicked off her heels, flopped onto the couch, and sighed dramatically. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. The phrase no one wants to hear, especially when you already know something isn't right. I sat across from her. Quiet. Patient. Ready. Ava tucked her hair behind her ear, the move she used whenever she was about to say something selfish and branded as bravery. So, I've been thinking, she began. That was her trademark opener for conversations she'd already decided the outcome of. I feel like we're too limiting. Too stuck. Too predictable. Predictable. The word stung more than I expected. She continued. I need more freedom. Real freedom. And I think we should see other people while still dating. She said it like she was offering a weekend getaway. Like it was a fun surprise she'd been planning. My face didn't change. I didn't explode. Didn't yell. Didn't ask why. I simply said, Ava, that's called being single. She blinked. Twice. No. No, you're not hearing me. I want US. I just also want the freedom to experience other connections. Then you want to be single. A flash of irritation crossed her face. Why are you being so rigid? That's such a defensive reaction. No, I said quietly. It's a boundary. She sighed dramatically, like I was the one being unreasonable. Look, I'm going out tomorrow with a guy I matched with. Just to explore. No big deal. I want transparency. That's healthy. You could meet someone too. Think of it as growth. There it was. The truth behind all the philosophical discussions. All the hints. All the monogamy is outdated comments. She'd been preparing this speech for weeks. I nodded once. Not emotionally. Not angrily. Just decisively. Okay. Ava brightened instantly. Okay. Really? So you're open to it? I stood up. No. I'm agreeing with you. You want to be single. And now you are. Her smile faded. That's not what I said. I heard you perfectly. And I walked out of the living room while she stared at me like she couldn't understand why the puppet stopped dancing. The next morning, Ava left for work early, still convinced I'd cool off. She even kissed me before leaving. We'll talk more tonight. Don't be dramatic. When the door closed behind her, I sat down, took a breath, and opened my phone. I changed my relationship status. Not out of pettiness, out of accuracy. Then I started packing her things. Carefully, respectfully, every piece sorted into neat bags. Exactly the way she liked things folded. When I finished, I texted Lena. Just one message. You were right. Ava wanted freedom. And she has it. Coffee sometime. It took her 48 seconds to reply. Absolutely. I was waiting for you to realize. I didn't rush anything. No rebound. No emotional scrambling. Just clarity. Because sometimes peace looks like a pile of bags on a porch and a locked door on the other side of freedom. Ava texted me around noon the next day. Nothing dramatic. Nothing accusatory. She still believed this was a phase I'd snap out of. Ava, babe, I feel like last night got misinterpreted. Let's talk tonight. I think we communicated weird. I didn't respond. A few hours later. Ava, going on that date tonight. Don't wait up. We'll talk when I'm back, red heart. The heart emoji was a nice touch. She was trying to keep me warm while she wandered. That's when I realized. Ava genuinely believed she could open the relationship unilaterally, go out with men from dating apps, then come home to me like she was returning from yoga class. She had no concept of consequence, or reality, or reciprocity, and certainly no understanding of what the word freedom actually meant. After lunch, I finished sorting her stuff. Her makeup bags, all her bathroom drawers, her work outfits she always left just in case, her chargers, notebooks, emotional support water bottles, the random collection of sweaters she stole from me and never returned. I packed it all, not hastily, not out of anger, just with the quiet decisiveness of someone making space for oxygen. Around 3 p.m., Lena sent me a message. Lena, if you want the full story, Ava's been complaining for weeks about wanting to experiment. Everyone at work knew this was coming except you. I stared at the screen for a while, then typed, Me. Thanks for telling me. She responded, Lena, you deserve better. And I don't mean that in a cliched way. She checked out months ago. There were no flirtations, no tension, just honesty. It felt refreshing. Around 7 p.m., Ava left for her freedom date. She wore a dress I'd never seen before, the kind you buy when you're trying to reinvent yourself. Perfume heavier than usual, hair curled, smile bright. She walked by me without hesitation. We'll talk when I'm back. Don't be in a mood. I didn't look up from my laptop. You're single, Ava. There's nothing to talk about. She rolled her eyes like I was playing hard to get and left. That small detail, her confidence, told me everything I needed to know. She truly believed she was irreplaceable, that she held all the power, that I would be waiting on the couch when she returned, eager to work things out. She thought she was rewriting the rules of our relationship. What she didn't realize was that I'd already closed the book. She came back at 12:46 a.m. I know the exact time because the doorbell camera recorded her stumbling toward the building walkway, tipsy, laughing to herself. And then the laugh died, because waiting for her on the porch were, for large bags of her belongings, a laundry basket filled with the sweaters she permanently borrowed, the houseplant she bought for us, her old coffee mug she claimed tasted better than all others, and a folded note taped neatly to the top bag. She stopped moving for a moment, blurred on camera, staring at her life condensed into bags. Then she ripped the note off and read it. It was short. Enjoy your freedom, permanently. She froze, then staggered back, as if the sentence physically hit her. The camera caught her whispering, No, 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 no. What the hell? She started knocking. Soft at first, then harder. Then she called me 15 times. Then she switched to texts. Ava, are you serious right now? Ava, this is not what I meant. Ava, open the door. Ava, I didn't cheat. It was a date. Ava, stop acting insane. Ava, talk to me. Now. Ava, You better not be with someone else. Ava, answer me. Ava, this isn't funny. I didn't answer. I just watched the feed in silence. Finally, around 1:30 a.m., she sank onto the porch step and cried into her hands. For the first time in months, her emotions were real. Not manipulative, not rehearsed, not weaponized, just raw confusion. She stayed there for almost an hour before a rideshare picked her up. I didn't unlock the door, not because I'm heartless, but because she was right. She needed freedom, and I gave it to her exactly the way she asked. I woke up to a wall of messages. Some angry, some apologetic, some threatening, some incoherent, some begging. I didn't mean open relationship. I meant just a little space. You're misinterpreting everything. Why would you date Lena, of all people? You're disgusting. You moved on in hours? I didn't even do anything yet. We can fix this. Please call me. I didn't. Instead, I got coffee with Lena at a small cafe near her office. It wasn't romantic. No sparks flying. No rebound sex. Just two adults talking honestly. She told me the truth about Ava's behavior at work. About how she'd been flirting with men openly for months. How she'd been manifesting dating multiple people. How she'd been telling everyone she was too hot to limit herself to one man. The irony wasn't lost on me. Ava wanted freedom. She just didn't want me to have any. Ava was out. Her stuff was gone. My apartment was peaceful. My mind finally quiet. But her reaction? Her meltdown? Her attempts to claw her way back into my life? That didn't stop the next day, or the next week, or the moment she found out I actually started dating the colleague she told me not to worry about. That's where the real explosion began. Update 1. Ava didn't crumble quietly. She never did anything quietly, heartbreak included. The morning after the porch incident, she switched from crying to fury like someone flipping a switch. My phone buzzed nonstop while I was at work. Her messages appearing in clusters that looked like emotional whiplash on my lock screen. Ava, you humiliated me. Actually humiliated me. Ava, do you think anyone else would have reacted the way you did? You're insane. Ava, you left my things outside like I'm trash. Ava, I was on one date. 1. Ava, why are you being so dramatic over something you agreed to? Just for accuracy, I never agreed to any open arrangement. I explicitly said, that's called being single. And she smiled like she'd won something. Now her tone shifted again. Ava, we can talk tonight. I'll come by. I typed, don't come by. She ignored it. Around noon, Lena sent me a message. Lena, are you expecting Ava here? She's in the parking lot pacing like she's rehearsing a speech. I looked outside. There she was, walking in circles, phone in hand, hair pulled back in a messy bun that wasn't messy at all, just strategically chaotic. I had two options. Walk out there and endure a public meltdown. Handle this calmly. I called building security and asked them to tell her she couldn't wait outside the employee entrance. She didn't take it well. Security escorted her off the property while she screamed. He cheated first. He did. He did. He left me for Lena. For Lena. What kind of man does that? You're all taking his side. The irony wasn't subtle. She wanted freedom, until she saw what freedom looked like when both people have it. Around 2 p.m., she sent the message that I had been expecting. Ava, you cheating before we even broke up is disgusting. I responded. Me. We did break up. You broke up with us when you said you wanted to date other people. Her reply came instantly. Ava, no. I said we should see other people. As a couple. I stared at that sentence for a long time. As a couple. She really believed relationships worked like gym memberships. You can freeze them, take a break, explore other facilities, and return whenever you want if you keep paying emotional dues. But life doesn't work like that. Trust doesn't work like that. Self-respect definitely doesn't work like that. This is where things got messy. She knew she couldn't reach me. She knew I wouldn't let her back into my apartment. So she tried a different angle. Ava showed up at my mom's house. My mother, being the polite saint she is, opened the door thinking Ava was dropping something off. Ava pushed her way inside and immediately started crying. He left me. He replaced me. He's seeing Lena. I didn't think he'd actually do it. My mother called me immediately after she managed to get Ava out of the house. Sweetheart, she's very upset. I think she's confused. Mom, I said, she wasn't confused. She was trying to manipulate you. My mom went quiet. Then she said what I'd been avoiding. She scares me a little. I don't think she's stable right now. She wasn't wrong. That night, Ava finally stopped pretending she wanted a calm conversation. She unleashed everything in one long, barely coherent text block. Ava, you broke us first. You did. I said I wanted freedom and you used it as an excuse to run to Lena. This is your betrayal, not mine. I tested you and you failed. Real partners can explore and still choose each other. You didn't choose me. You chose to abandon me. To which I responded, me, no. I chose monogamy. You chose options. And when you choose options, you lose priority. Her reply came 2 minutes later. Ava, if you start dating Lena, I will never forgive you. Ever. Don't do this to me. I stared at the last line for a long time. So that was the real issue. She didn't care about me. She cared about losing control of the narrative. She wanted me as plan A, other men as plan B. No consequences, no competition, no risk of being replaced. She wanted to be single without being single. That's not freedom. That's ownership. 2 days later. She found out. It wasn't dramatic, wasn't sexual, wasn't public, just a simple photo. Me and Lena sitting together at a coffee shop. 2 mugs, hands close, but not touching. Nothing salacious, just connection. Lena posted it. Caption, new chapter. Ava saw it immediately. Her final message to me arrived at 9:12 p.m. Ava, I didn't want to lose you, but you didn't even fight for me. You gave up the moment I pushed. You were supposed to hold on. My answer was simple. Me. Ava, you pushed yourself out. And that was it. She went silent for the first time since everything imploded. Not blocked, not muted, just silent. It was the cleanse I never realized I needed. Final update. Silence from Ava didn't last forever. It lasted 9 days. 9 peaceful, quiet, unbelievably restful days where my phone didn't vibrate like a malfunctioning blender. 9 days where I slept through the night, ate breakfast without tension, and didn't have to brace myself for accusations or theatrics. But people like Ava don't fade quietly. They regroup. And when the silence broke, it came from everywhere except her. Lena warned me first. She texted me early on a Tuesday morning. Lena, just a heads up, Ava's telling people you cheated. I shut it down, but be prepared. I genuinely laughed. Not because it was funny, it wasn't, but because it was predictable. Ava needed a story that let her stay the victim and avoid the truth. She asked for freedom. She got it. She regretted it. She tried to rewrite the timeline. Since she couldn't accuse me of abuse or neglect, I gave her nothing to latch onto. She defaulted to the classic accusation. Infidelity. Except, everyone at work already knew she'd bragged for weeks about exploring connections. She didn't expect people to remember that, or to connect the dots. But Lena told me. People actually laughed. They literally said, Ava, you can't open the relationship and then accuse him of cheating because he moved on. She stormed out. It wasn't schadenfreude. It was just the natural consequence of self-inflicted contradictions. 3 weeks after she'd cried on my mom's porch, I received a message from an unknown number. It wasn't her tone at first, too formal. Hi, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. You don't owe me anything. I just need to say this. My stomach dropped. She continued. I pushed you away. I thought freedom meant power. I didn't expect you to walk away so fast. I thought you'd fight for us. I thought you'd wait for me. There it was, the core issue. She didn't want freedom. She wanted control. She wanted unlimited options while being my only option. Then, I miss you. Can we talk in person? One last time. I didn't answer immediately. I sat with it. And for a moment, a short, fleeting one, I felt a pull. Not to reconcile, but to get closure. Then I remembered. Her face the night she said she wanted freedom. The bags on the porch. The way she weaponized the narrative at work. Her intrusion into my mom's home. The emotional chaos she introduced into my life like a storm disguised as a breeze. Closure wasn't a conversation. It was distance. So I replied, I don't think a meeting would be healthy for either of us. I hope you heal, but I'm not part of that process. She read it instantly. For 2 hours, no response. Then, finally, okay, that was the real end. Not the bags on the porch. Not the date with Lena. Not the screaming in the parking lot. It was this one-word message. Okay. It meant she knew the door wasn't just closed. It was locked, sealed, and bricked over. Months went by. Life stabilized. I heard bits and pieces through mutual acquaintances and social media. She tried dating apps again. She cycled through 3 short relationships in 2 months. She posted inspirational quotes about being enough for yourself, which usually means the opposite. She unfollowed Lena. She tried rebranding herself as emotionally evolved. People saw through it. Her freedom wasn't liberation. It was loneliness wearing sparkly clothes. My relationship with Lena? Slow, healthy, calm. Everything Ava wasn't. We didn't rush into anything. No grand declarations. No revenge narrative. Just compatibility and clarity. The first time Lena stayed the night, she said quietly, "You seem peaceful for the first time since I met you." She was right. Because ending something toxic doesn't just free you from a person. It frees you from the version of yourself that tolerated them. 6 months after everything ended, Ava sent one final message. A voice message, shaky but sober. "I really did love you. I just loved myself more. And in the worst way possible." I didn't respond. Some chapters don't need epilogues. Some people only teach you what you won't accept again. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I don't hate her. I just don't trust her. And trust isn't something you rebuild from ashes. Not when the fire was intentional. Ava wanted freedom. She got it. I wanted peace. And I kept it. People think heartbreak is about losing love. Sometimes, heartbreak is about losing an illusion. In my case, I didn't lose anything. I gained everything I needed. Clarity, boundaries, a relationship built on honesty, a quiet home, a quiet mind, and yes, the satisfaction of knowing that freedom isn't something you demand. It's something you earn. And I earned mine by walking away.